the very thought of God occurred to you only because you saw creation, isn't it? When you were born and you opened your eyes, you looked around, so much creation. Before you came here, so much has happened. Obviously, you did not create it. So you thought, there must be a creator. This is how you come to the creator, isn't it? The moment you thought there must be a creator, because you're in a human form, you thought it must be a big man. A small man like me cannot do all this. It must be a big man. Just 2 hands, how can it do so much creation? Must be 8 hands. Isn't it? Isn't it so? If you were a buffalo, you would be really thinking, God is a huge buffalo. Isn't it so? Yes or no? You go and ask a buffalo and see. A buffalo will insist, God is a huge buffalo, maybe 4 horns. You know Idi Amin? You heard of Idi Amin? The Uganda man? Idi Amin declared, God is black. I agree with him. If a white man can have a white God, why can't a black man have a black God? But both those people are confused. We know God is brown. Because he visited us, you know. Some time ago, I was talking to a group of people in Nashville in Tennessee, and I was telling them a joke. In the joke, I just referred to God as Him. Immediately a few ladies stood up. Do you believe God is a man? I knew where it's going. I said, see, see, I'm only telling you a joke. It doesn't matter. You said Him. Do you believe God is a man? They take the jokes very seriously. Now women are arguing, God could be a woman. Such problems exist only in those cultures. In India, we have man God, we have woman God, we have cow God, we have monkey God, we have everything. Every kind, crawling one, creeping one, flying one. Because we foresaw all the problems of the future. See, when man was the most powerful force on the planet, man was naturally God. Now women are also gaining in their power, so women are questioning, why can't it be a woman? So tomorrow suppose dogs gain lot of power which they're gaining, so dogs will ask, why not a dog god? Actually the spelling also is close, you know. He seemed to be closer than you, isn't it? So your idea of God is just an exaggerated version of yourself, isn't it? Your idea of God is just an exaggerated version of yourself. See, you're still not able to define yourself, isn't it? Whatever definition you put on yourself is not correct. Any kind of definition you put on you, it is not enough to describe this one. When this small piece of creation is like this, the source of creation, how are you going to put a definition on it? You cannot define it, you cannot understand it, you can only dissolve into it. You can experience it.
Sir, one of the other things that's been kind of bothering, I've been in the valley for the last 32 years, and
That's a wrong expression. You must say, I've been hitting the peaks.
One of the things that has not happened are happening at a very slow pace, right, is the women leadership. And that's kind of a missing component. And this is something now, there is a big talk going on, especially with the Facebook CEO writing a book called Lean In. And what are your thoughts around that? Is this something that, socially this is a challenging thing, or people are blocking it? What are your thoughts, and how should people overcome to…
Those who think women are not leaders are not married. Do you agree with me? So, I feel leadership should be free of gender. You don't look at a leader for being a man or a woman. You look at them for what qualities they exude. The important thing is your vision and how you are within yourself. How you are within yourself has not been invested upon at all. You're trying to develop your outside skills. Whatever your skills may be, if you don't have the necessary equanimity and exuberance at the same time, to be equanimous and exuberant, if you achieve this within yourself, then whatever competence you have will multiply 100-fold. If you don't have equanimity, you will spill all over the place. If you don't have exuberance, then again it will not find full expression. To make yourself into an equanimous and exuberant human being within yourself, which is not in any way enslaved to outside situations. If everything is going dead wrong today, still, this is how I am, okay? With the number of things happening, you must understand, don't be impressed by this 2.5 million volunteers and all this. I want you to understand what it means. Working with volunteers, what it means is, nobody is trained for the job. Do you understand? They're enthusiastic, they're fired up, but they don't know how to do it. So every moment you have to guide it. If I hired a professional, instead of 100 volunteers, one guy would do the job, but you wouldn't have a movement. If he gets a better pay somewhere, he'll run away. These people are willing to die for it.
Yeah.
That's a big difference. And another thing is, when you work with volunteers, you can't fire them. Just try to manage your company without the ability to fire the incompetent, you'll go crazy. So you must understand, volunteers means not some great thing, it is a You can't fire them and they're not trained for the job. That's a reality. But still wonderful things happen because that is the nature of human spirit. When they're on it, when they really want to make it happen, they'll find a way. Somehow they'll find a way. That is the beauty of it. And this is the growth of the human being. Somehow, people who never thought they could do all these things, today they have risen and they're doing all kinds of things that they never imagined possible. So, first establish your way of being. Then you go out and do whatever you're capable of. If you're not capable of it, you'll find out halfway. But you're a joyful being, you're exuberant and you're balanced. If these two things you achieve, you will see every drop of competence you have will multiply 100-fold. If you don't have balance, every 100 drops of competence you have will get reduced to 10 drops or 1. See, leadership, if you look at it as a quality, if you look at leadership as an aspiration, it can produce many disastrous leaders. You may end up producing Adolf Hitlers. Do not ever think of leadership as something that you aspire for. If you look at how to evolve a certain competence with whatever draws you in this life, if you become competent in a certain way, people will naturally look up to you. Leadership should be a consequence. Leadership should not be an aspiration. If leadership is an aspiration, you may produce sick people. Leadership should never be an aspiration. Do not ever use the word leadership with your children. It is not necessary. They must focus on doing something well. If you do something really well, 10 people will look up to it. If it's wonderful, 1,000,000 people will look up to it. That's all it is. Leadership should be a consequence of a certain type of action, not an aspiration.
Well, I think we can probably go on for another hour very easily here. Look at the enthusiasm of the audience. It's really fascinating. It's really fascinating actually to see the depth of knowledge and how well Sadhguru was able to articulate issues across the spectrum, right, which included education, ecosystem, and various other issues that we are all facing, which is really remarkable. I just want to request two things. I was going to actually say the aspiring leaders who are sitting here, but I'm not going to say that now.
No, you can say that. Why?
So the folks here who are working who are working to achieve, right, the results of whatever they are doing, which will ultimately become whatever it is, right? What is your advice? What is your